It was the 5th year of my engagement to Fu Yanli. He secretly held a wedding ceremony with a female university student. When I arrived, they were locked in a passionate kiss, egged on by the crowd. Fu Yanli saw me and raised a brow lightly. The girl wanted a wedding ceremony, he said. Don't worry. It's not legally registered. I didn't make a scene. I just turned and walked away. He was convinced I was just being petty. Until the crown prince of the capital's elite circle posted a marriage certificate, Fu Yanli braved the pouring rain and frantically pounded on my door. I opened the door, the flush on my face not yet faded. Don't worry, I just got the marriage license. I'm not actually married. Qin Chu came downstairs wearing only a towel around his waist, wrapped his arm around me, and said, "Oh, so I don't get a title." 1. The lively wedding venue. The guests below the stage started chanting for the newlyweds to kiss. The bride in her wedding gown looked on with shyness in her eyes as Fu Yanli cupped the back of her head, deepening their kiss. I stared blankly at the two of them locked in a passionate kiss on the stage. Fu Yanli's best man turned and saw me, exclaiming in a panic, "Sis!" In the next second, the lively atmosphere fell deathly quiet. I walked towards Fu Yanli. The young girl clumsily tried to hide behind him. There wasn't a trace of embarrassment on Fu Yanli's face at being caught by his fiancée. He playfully pulled the girl from behind him into his arms and raised a suggestive eyebrow. "Shu Yu is making a fuss about marrying me. Don't worry, we didn't register the marriage. The title of Mrs. Fu will only ever be yours." Fu Yanli and I grew up together, childhood sweethearts from the very start. Right after graduation, our families arranged for us to get engaged. He's notorious in our social circle for being a playboy, constantly cycling through girlfriends and leaving me utterly humiliated. I offered a faint, knowing smile. She took out a square brocade box from her bag. "This is the bracelet passed down to the Fu family's daughter-in-law. I'm returning it to you." Fu Yanli took it, turning it over in his hands. He smiled with a hint of mockery. "You've even brought out the bracelet this time, just to make me break up with her." I didn't miss the thick layer of disbelief in his eyes. "Fu Yanli, our engagement is null and void as of today. From now on, we go our separate ways, free to marry whomever we choose." Fu Yanli's face instantly darkened. "Jiang Tang, say that again." Seeing the situation was about to explode, his close friend quickly stepped in. "Calm down, sis. This wedding doesn't mean anything. Brother Fu is just fooling around. You're the one he's really going to marry." To witness such a spectacle, her fiancé marrying another woman, without a tear or a word of protest, I turned and walked away calmly. "Brother Fu, you should go after your wife, and fast," Fu Yanli said with absolute certainty. "What's there to chase? This has happened before. She'll come back obediently in a few days. It was never this bad before. Any woman would be devastated to see the man she loves marry someone else. I'm telling you, you'd better go check on her." Fu Yanli glanced toward the door, his dark eyes narrowing slightly. Lin Shuyu suddenly tugged on his sleeve. "Can I take a look at that bracelet, too?" After leaving the wedding, I called my best friend, Song Song, and we made plans to grab a couple of drinks at a bar. When she arrived and saw the 2 empty wine bottles, she immediately understood. "What's going on? Did you have another fight with Fu Yanli? Did he find himself a celebrity or a college student this time?" Just hearing that name felt like a stab to the heart. "He got married today." After hearing the whole story, Song Song grabbed a bottle, ready to go smash that scumbag's head in. "You should have dumped him ages ago. I've added you to a group chat. It's full of the most eligible guys in our circle. Take your time and have a look." My phone suddenly started buzzing non-stop. I took a look. In less than a minute, over 30 people had added me. "I'm going to the restroom," in the hallway. A man in a suit that seemed out of place leaned against the wall, smoking. He had casually undone a few buttons at the collar of his shirt and looked like someone you wouldn't want to mess with. Perhaps sensing my gaze, he frowned and looked over. "Qin Chu, what's he doing here?" I walked over and gave a faint smile. "Mr. Qin, mind if I bum a cigarette?" He raised an eyebrow. "Didn't you turn into a good girl after getting together with Fu Yanli? Aren't you afraid he'll find out you smoke?" I stayed silent. He leaned in and said in an utterly punchable tone, "I heard he threw a lavish wedding for another woman today. Did you two break up?" I went straight for his cigarettes and lighter. With practiced ease, she lit it, exhaled a soft plume of smoke, and said with a knowing half-smile, Chin Chu, my place tonight. Our eyes met. The implication was crystal clear between two adults. Chin Chu pinched out the cigarette and gave a light chuckle. It suddenly hit me, he was famously known in our circle for keeping women at arm's length. I was just about to explain. Just kidding. I can't believe he actually agreed. 3. Chin Chu used my fingerprint to unlock it, and the next second, he pinned me against the door, his large hand cupped the back of my head, and he kissed me without hesitation. Jiang Tang, are you a dog? Ease up on the biting. I frowned slightly. Could you stop talking? What you should be doing right now is rendering me speechless. The entire night, Chin Chu made me understand, through practical demonstration, what it truly means to have one's words come back to haunt them. I finally fell asleep at dawn, only for my phone to ring. My eyes wouldn't open. So I just reached out and fumbled aimlessly across the bed. A soft chuckle came from beside me as Chin Chu found the phone. His expression immediately darkened when he saw it was a video call from Fu Yanli. He handed me the phone and pulled the covers up to my collarbone for me. I answered the call, forcing my bleary, sleep-filled eyes open. Fu Yanli gave a cold, detached laugh. Didn't you say yesterday that we should go our separate ways? How is it that in less than a day, you went to my mother to speak ill of Shu Yu? Who went to your mother? Are you insane? What the hell are you doing? Coming here and causing a scene first thing in the morning, the moment I opened my mouth. I was completely stunned. My voice is completely shot. Fu Yanli asked, sounding puzzled. Do you have a cold? I chuckled. Don't play dumb. Realizing what I meant, he suddenly raised his voice, leaning closer to the phone. Where are you? Who are you with right now, Mr. Fu? We're done. Where I am and who I'm with is none of your business. I was too exhausted to even speak, so I just hung up the video call. Inside the bar, Fu Yanli's expression was grim. Brother Fu. Did Jiang Tang hang up on you? Is she really serious about calling off the engagement? No way, that's just her same old trick to threaten Brother Fu. If she were really going to call off the engagement, do you think she'd have the heart to go through with it? It's so obviously an act. She's pretending to be with another guy to make you jealous, hoping you'll crack and go to her first. That move is so overplayed it's practically a cliché. The group burst into laughter. Only then did Fu Yanli's expression soften slightly. 4. The phone call jolted me awake, chasing away the last traces of sleep. I frowned in displeasure. Chin Chu took note of my reaction. What's so great about that Fu Yanli? He was a notorious playboy even before marriage. There's no way he'd be faithful to just you after the wedding. He's not good enough for you. I looked up, puzzled. Chin Chu picked up the cigarette case from the nightstand, tapped one out, and lit it. His expression suddenly turned serious. When it comes to marriage alliances, the Chin family is no less influential than the Fu family. What are you getting at, Mr. Chin? Chin Chu glanced at me. I know you've been wanting to secure the East District Development Project, but doing it alone would be quite difficult. If we were to marry and collaborate, it would become much easier. I'm wide awake now. Given the Chin family's capabilities, they could easily handle this alone. Why share the spoils with me? Maybe I don't want you getting a free ride. The corner of my mouth twitched involuntarily. After a moment's thought, I proactively extended my right hand. Pleasure doing business with you. 40 minutes later, Chin Chu and I walked out of the marriage registration office. Staring at the red booklet in my hand, I still felt a bit dazed and dreamlike. Let's go. We're meeting a client now. Chin Chu reached up and patted my head, letting out a soft, amused laugh. Our honeymoon. 5. We suited up in our diving gear and immersed ourselves in the azure sea, experiencing the ocean's mystery and beauty, vibrant corals and schools of fish so close you could almost reach out and touch them. Chin Chu signaled to me with a hand gesture, indicating I should follow, descending to a certain depth and looking up. We were greeted by a starry sky beneath the sea. After I got ashore, a staff member told me my phone had been ringing non-stop. I opened my phone, and dozens of messages popped up. Hello MS, Jiang, this is the store manager of DK Bridal. When would be a good time for you to come in for a wedding gown fitting? Hello MS, Jiang, I'm the lead wedding planner. What kind of flowers do you prefer? We'll arrange to have them air freighted in for the occasion. Hello MS, Liang, Mr. Fu has placed an order for a diamond ring for you at our store. When would be a convenient time for you to come in and try it on? We can adjust the size if needed, a wedding dress, flowers, a ring. The more I looked, the deeper my frown became. Has my phone number been leaked? Just then, my phone rang again. I glanced at the screen. It was a call from Fu Yanli. Hello. His tone was accusatory right from the start. Where have you been? I've called you so many times. The company said you've taken a month's leave. Where I go is none of your business. Don't forget, we've already broken up. Fu Yanli wasn't fazed. In fact, he laughed. You're only throwing a fit because I arranged a wedding for Lin Shuyu, right? I'll arrange one for you too. You should have received the messages and calls by now. Just tell them what kind of wedding dress and venue you like, and they'll take care of everything. I was utterly speechless. Are you out of your mind? Even though I couldn't see his face, I could perfectly imagine the expression on Fu Yanli's face when he heard me say that. Jiang Tang, you've been sulking about the wedding. And now I'm agreeing to give you a proper ceremony. What more do you want? Haven't you thrown enough of a tantrum? Let me make this clear. This is your one and only chance. If you don't want to get married, then you can forget about it for the rest of your life. Fu Yanli was always like this. If he offered you an olive branch and you didn't immediately take it, then it was automatically your fault. You're insane. We're broken up. Stop calling me. Marry whoever you want. On the other end of the line, Fu Yanli just kept repeating the word fine 3 times. Jiang Tang, I gave you a chance. You're the one who turned it down. Don't you dare regret this. You're insane. Qin Chu, now changed, asked Fu Yanli on the phone. I took a breath. Yeah, he thinks I'm upset about a wedding. So he wants to throw one for me too. What was I thinking? Falling for a man like that? Qin Chu just smiled and didn't say another word. The following month, we visited the mysterious blue ice caves in Iceland. We took a hot air balloon ride in Turkey. 6. On the day I returned home, Song Song asked me out. I layered on concealer, but I still couldn't cover up the marks on my collarbone. I had no choice but to dig out a silk scarf from the wardrobe and tie it around my neck. The moment she sat down, she downed 2 glasses of wine in quick succession. I'm absolutely furious. Fu Yanli has completely lost his mind. He's rented out all the digital billboards on every major building in the capital, had A-list celebrities record birthday wishes for that. What's her name? Lin Shuyu, and plans to loop them for a whole month. Did he even stop to think about how you'd feel? Holding my wine glass, I said calmly, I'm married. Song Song didn't believe it at first, not until she saw the marriage certificate. Qin Chu, but he's famously known for keeping women at arm's length. How on earth did you manage to land him? That's not the point. The point is, Fu Yanli isn't even in the same league as him. I'd give anything to see his face when he finds out you're marrying Qin Chu. Her anger vanished instantly. This calls for a celebration. Dinner's on me tonight. Song Song couldn't hold her liquor. After just a few drinks, she was completely disoriented. I set down my glass. Stay put. I'm going to get you some sobering tea. I ran into Lu Ziyi in the hallway. He eagerly approached me. Sis-in-law, you're here. Brother Fu and the others are in booth 6. Fu Yanli and I are done. Just call me by my name from now on. Have fun. You guys. Lu Ziyi just thought I was still upset. What Brother Fu did was really out of line. Just give him a chance to apologize in person. We're in booth 6. I'll head over first. Sis-in-law, you come along in a bit. Okay, to get back to private room 3, you had to pass by private room 6. I heard a familiar voice. I stood at the door, peering through the crack. Fu Yanli was lounging lazily on the sofa, several buttons of his shirt undone. Lin Shu's lips were swollen and red. Anyone could tell what had just happened. Brother Fu, I just ran into your ex at the door. I told you she still can't get over you. I'm surprised Jiang Tang managed to go this long without contacting you. It's only been a month, but as soon as she heard you were celebrating another woman's birthday, she couldn't take it anymore and came running. Fu Yanli's expression was cold. Who told her to come? We've broken up. All right, that's enough. Isn't this the first time Jiang Tang has gone this long without contacting you? Be careful, or this might blow up in your face. Yeah, Brother Fu, I think you should send this woman away now, before your wife gets angry again. Fu Yanli glanced sideways at the docile Lin Shuyu beside him. She lowered her head, her voice soft and fragile. President Fu, today is my birthday. I touched the silk scarf tied around my neck, took it off, and pushed the door open to enter. Everyone's gaze turned toward me at the same time. The mark on my neck was far too conspicuous. Even in the dim light of the bar, Fu Yanli still noticed it. He shot to his feet, narrowing his eyes. "What's that on your neck?" I thought of how Qin Chu had marked me up like a mad dog last night. I said with a smile, "A hickey." Fu Yanli kicked the nearby table, the darkness in his eyes plain to see. "Who did this?" "Jiang Tang. You really went behind my back and found another man, didn't you?" "What's it to you who did it, Fu Yanli? A decent ex should be as good as dead," he sneered. "Jiang Tang, if I ever contact you again, I'm a goddamn dog." Song Song took a sip of her hangover tea and asked me, "What took you so long? I almost went out looking for you." Hearing the sound of things being smashed in the next booth, I said, "Just took care of something, otherwise, those pesky flies would keep buzzing around." "Let's go." We'd both been drinking, so we called a designated driver. 7. Not long after, the female university student who married Fu Yanli graduated and entered the entertainment industry. After achieving some success, she actually hired internet trolls to comment under the official account of the Jiang group. "Mr. Fu is truly different towards Sister Shuyu. He's even willing to host a grand, lavish wedding for her." Forget the wedding, Mr. Fu didn't even bat an eye when he gifted her that pink diamond. I'd advise a certain someone to part ways amicably and stop shamelessly clinging to the title of Mr. Fu's fiancé. The one who isn't loved is the real third wheel. Would it kill you to let Mr. Fu and Sister Shuyu be together? My assistant handed me the tablet to see. Director Jiang. Should we delete the comments that are steering public opinion, dig up any dirt on Lin Shuyu and leak it to the paparazzi? Then, notify all media companies partnered with the Jiang group they are not to give her any resources. Understood, Director Jiang. I'll get on it right away. What if Director Fu tries to intervene? Don't worry about him. Just focus on finishing what I asked you to do. An hour later, Lin Shu's comment section was flooded. "How dare you, a homewrecker. Not only lurk in the shadows but also have the audacity to openly provoke the original partner. I was in the same class as Lin Shuyu. She puts on this sweet, innocent act, but in reality, she used her family's money to lead the bullying against me at school. My arms are covered in scars from where she burned me, and she stole an award that was rightfully mine. So that's the kind of person she was even back in school. I was Lin Shu's body double, on set. For any scene where her face didn't absolutely have to be shown, she made me do it. Out of dozens of scenes, she probably filmed less than a third herself. The rest were either done by a double or fixed in post-production. I was Lin Shu's assistant. There was a scene where she had to get into the water to retrieve something. She thought the water was too dirty and insisted the crew go buy bottled water before she'd even step in. Let me tell you, I've worked as an assistant for A-list celebrities, and none of them were this exhausting. The most despicable one is Fu Yanli, changing girlfriends every few days. A man like that should have been 6 feet under ages ago. 8. Brother Fu, aren't you going to answer your little girlfriend's call? She's getting torn apart online. Jiang Tang is still the same. She holds a grudge against everyone except you. Fu Yanli ignored the question and instead asked, "Has Jiang Tang been calling any of you lately?" The group exchanged glances before replying. "No." "Are you building up Lin Shuyu on purpose, to get a rise out of Jiang Tang? Looks like your little scheme backfired. With the news about you and Lin Shuyu spreading like wildfire, has Jiang Tang even given you a call?" "Brother Fu, if you're serious about getting back with Jiang Tang, just swallow your pride and call her. What have you got to lose? If someone else beats you to it, then let her do as she pleases. If she wants to break up, then we break up. It's not like I'm short of girlfriends." That evening, I got a message from Song Song. "Oh, right, I forgot to mention the other night. The rumor in our circle is that Qin Chu is into guys. So, is he, any good?" I couldn't help but chuckle at the message. Before I could reply, a shadow fell over me. Into guys. I looked up and met Qin Chu's gaze, which held a hint of a mocking smile. "Me, let's try tonight. I'll show you what I can do." By the time I realized what was happening, I was already in bed. Maybe it was the alcohol, but my cheeks felt burning hot. At the peak of my desire, I lowered my head and bit down on his shoulder. Outside, the rain poured down in torrents, while inside, the air grew thick with tension. The phone on the nightstand rang incessantly. After it stopped, Qin Chu picked it up and glanced at the screen. "It's Fu Yanli. Should I answer it? My eyes welled up. And I shook my head. Tang Tang, he's clinging to you like a piece of sticky plaster. It's really getting to me. Then you answer it. I don't know if it was my imagination, but I could have sworn I saw a glint of triumph in his eyes. As soon as the call connected, Fu Yanli's drunken voice came through. Jiang Tang, I'm wasted. Come get me. I've been acting out for days now. Why haven't you come to check on me? Qin Chu scoffed lightly. It's me. There was silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds, then Fu Yanli's gritted voice came through. Qin Chu, have you no shame? You're actually the other woman. We're legally married. The real question is, why are you calling my wife in the middle of the night? Impossible. His tone suddenly softened. Tang Tang, come pick me up, please. Let's stop fighting. I forced myself to stay composed. Fu Yanli, I made myself perfectly clear today. You're just my ex, nothing more. Qin Chu raised an eyebrow in satisfaction. Not giving him a chance to speak, I hung up the phone directly. Meanwhile, at the bar, Fu Yanli hadn't moved a muscle since hanging up the phone. Looks like Jiang Tang is really not coming back this time. I'd say it's 80% certain. To be fair, you can't really blame her. Brother Fu, you've been playing way too hard these past few years. Sneaking around is one thing, but you always have to make a huge scene. Forget about you marrying Lin Shuyu. Last time it was that minor celebrity you straight up gave a ring to, and before that, the secretary you spoiled so much she went and caused a scene at the Jiang group. If I were Jiang Tang, I'd have dumped you ages ago. She wouldn't have waited until now. Enough. Stop talking. If it's over, it's over. It's not like you ever liked Jiang Tang anyway. Without a word, Fu Yanli grabbed his car keys and left. The people behind him couldn't catch up. No matter how hard they tried, he's been drinking, he can't drive. Oh no, he's already out of sight. He's probably gone to find Jiang Tang, and now Qin Chu is there too. This is setting up for a fight. 9. Jiang Tang, I want to post this on my feed. Qin Chu right now was a completely different person from usual. He was just so damn alluring. I found myself nodding before I knew it. It's only been a minute since I posted, and there are already quite a few people from the circle showing support. Photoshopped, congratulations, you finally got your wish. But does Jiang Tang know you've been pining for her all these years? Holy crap, why does she look so familiar? Isn't that Mr. Fu's fiancé? What's going on? Congratulations, congratulations. Qin Chu replied to a few messages with a cigarette between his teeth. Then headed to the bathroom to take a shower. Hearing the frantic knocking downstairs, I pulled the covers over my head, trying to pretend I hadn't heard it, but the knocking only grew louder and more insistent, as if they had no intention of stopping until I answered. I went downstairs in my black slip nightgown, already guessing who was at the door. I took our marriage certificate out from the cabinet. I opened the door, the flush on my face not yet faded. Fu Yanli was drenched by the rain. Tang Tang, I won't mess around anymore, let's make up. I didn't overthink it at the time. I just thought it was only a wedding ceremony. It wasn't a threat to your position as Mrs. Fu, so I agreed. Week all over. I leaned against the doorframe and showed him the marriage certificate in my hand. We've registered our marriage. All that's left is the wedding. When we hold the ceremony, we'll be sure to invite you, President Fu, for a celebratory drink. Qin Chu came downstairs with only a towel wrapped around his waist and wrapped his arm around my waist. Fu Yanli threw a punch without hesitation. I considered you a brother, and you've been eyeing Jiang Tang. Qin Chu grabbed him by the collar and punched back. Are you seriously unaware of all the awful things you've done? She put up with you for 5 years, and you spent every one of those years pushing her away. The two of them traded blows, neither giving an inch. Fu Yanli stood in the rain, his eyes glistening. Tang Tang, I'm drunk. Could you make me a bowl of sobering soup, please? Qin Chu cursed under his breath. The door slammed shut with a loud bang. He pinned me against the door, while outside, Fu Yanli's frantic knocking echoed. Tang Tang, when are we getting married? I want to make it official. Your engagement party was so grand. I want our wedding to be even better. I stood on my tiptoes and kissed the corner of his lips. Okay, 10. The next day, I got a call from Lu Ziyi. Fu Yanli crashed his car into a guardrail on his way home last night. The front of the car was completely totaled. Thankfully, he wasn't fatally injured and is now in the hospital. Sis, Jiang Tang, could you come see him? He's refusing to eat. drink, or take his medicine. He insists he won't cooperate unless he sees you. How many phone numbers do you have? They paused, then said, just this one. I hung up and blocked the number immediately. If Fu Yanli is in trouble, why isn't he calling his parents or his current girlfriend? What does he want with me, his ex-fiancée who's already married? Lu Ziyi showed him the black screen of his phone. Brother Fu, Jiang Tang really is done with you. She's blocked my number now too. Fu Yanli's dark eyes were fixed on the chat window, and he said nothing. Later, he seized the moment when no one was around and left the hospital directly. I've been swamped with the East District Development project lately. That day, when I went back to my apartment to grab some documents, I was shocked to see Fu Yanli sitting by the flower bed downstairs. Still in his hospital gown, he saw me, walked over, and called out cautiously, Tang Tang. I wearily pressed my fingers to my temples. What is it you're trying to do? Perhaps because he was ill, he looked somewhat frail. Qin Chu did it on purpose. He's had his eye on you for a long time. He wants us to break up so he can swoop in. Remember back in school, when someone slipped a love letter into your bag and you were furious? That was Qin Chu. What? Back in school, Qin Chu was impossibly aloof. Everyone only dared to whisper about him behind his back. No one had the nerve to go up and ask for his contact info. So it was Qin Chu who put that love letter in my bag. He's just jealous that I'm engaged to you. That's why he's trying to frame me. So, are you saying he forced you to date those actresses and college students? He forced you to have the wedding? Fu Yanli lowered his gaze, refusing to engage with the topic. Tang Tang, I got caught in the rain last night and now I have a fever. I feel awful. Could I come upstairs for a glass of water? No, I'm married. I took out my phone and called Auntie Fu. Alright, I'll be right there, dear. After she arrived, she slapped him in exasperation. What are you still doing here making a fool of yourself? Just look at all the things you've done. I'm too ashamed to face Tang Tang's parents. Get out of here. Now, Auntie, I have a few important meetings later, so I'll be taking my leave. Alright, you go ahead, I'll get this good-for-nothing out of here right away. I gave a polite nod and turned to leave. I was surprised to find Fu Yanli still sitting there when I got back. He was wearing a thin hospital gown. And passers-by couldn't help but glance his way. He just kept staring at the entrance of the residential complex, seemingly indifferent. The moment he saw my car pull in, he immediately stood up. I took a deep breath. I tried to ignore him, but as I walked away, he stopped me. He held out the brocade box I had returned and said, I never intended to give this bracelet to anyone else. Please, take it back. I gave a faint smile, opened my phone, and pulled up a photo. It was a selfie of Lin Shuyu wearing that very bracelet. Fu Yanli hurriedly explained, she just wanted to see it after you left that day, so I let her try it on. That's all she did. I didn't want to argue with him. I shook off his hand and went upstairs. When Qin Chu returned, I watched from upstairs as they exchanged a few words, and the next second, they were fighting. I hurried downstairs. Qin Chu, you're no better than me. Do you have the guts to tell Jiang Tang everything you've done? You had a hand in my affair, didn't you? The East District project was a trap you set for her all along. Screw your so-called cooperation. Tang Tang, don't you dare let him fool you. Qin Chu shot me a nervous glance. I took his hand and laced our fingers together. I handed the wedding candy to Fu Yanli. Qin Chu and I are getting married on the 8th of next month. You're welcome to come to the wedding banquet. Back in the room, Qin Chu was still distracted. I'd never seen him like this before. He explained, some of what Fu Yanli said is true. I knew you wanted the East District project, so I deliberately used it as a pretext to marry you. His affair happened because I hinted to the manager at a dinner to bring the type of girl he likes in front of him. I'm not as good as you think I am. I'm very good at manipulating people. I know exactly what kind of man Fu Yanli is. Even without you, he would have grown tired of that life soon enough after marriage and suggested we go our separate ways. Qin Chu was stunned. You don't blame me. I gave a light laugh. Of course I don't blame you. I married you after careful consideration, too. Only a naive girl would think of nothing but love. I watched as the tension gradually eased from Qin Chu's demeanor. 11. The East District project has broken ground smoothly. The wedding between Qin Chu and me is also in the works. On this day, I'm torn between using all chocolates for the wedding favors or mixing in a variety of candies. A notification popped up on my phone. Your friend is live. I clicked on it, puzzled. Fu Yanli was kneeling on the ground in a sorry state. The fabric of his trousers at the knees visibly torn. He took a step and knelt down. I'm sorry, Jiang Tang. With every step, a kneel. With every kneel, an apology. I remembered when we first started dating, he said, if I ever wrong you, I'll walk to Wulao Mountain. Kneeling with every step, witnessing this mad scene, I fell silent for a full minute. I quickly grabbed my phone to call him, but Fu Yanli didn't answer. The barrage of comments went wild. After all, opportunities to see the president of the Fu Group in such an embarrassing state are rare. A belated show of affection is cheaper than dirt. What's the point of putting on this act now? Weren't you changing girlfriends every few days before? Abusing your wife feels good for a moment, but winning her back is a living hell. Just a while ago you were all over that actress, and now you suddenly remember how great your fiancé is. Okay, so President Fu cheated first, but let's be real, his looks are top tier. Even by entertainment industry standards, my moral compass is swayed by his handsome face. President Jiang, just forgive him. The person above has zero morals, in that case. I hope your handsome boyfriend cheats on you regularly. Jiang Tang's current husband is way hotter than President Fu, ripped with an 8-pack. Have you seen it? I made it up in my head. I watched the man in the video refusing to answer the call. If you really had to ascend Mount Laro on your knees, one step at a time, it would take at least a full day and night. The worst part is, it's just so humiliating. He kept saying he was sorry to Jiang Tang. Lu Ziyi called, Jiang Tang. I know brother Fu wronged you, but he's still running a fever and hasn't recovered. Could you please, just out of pity, give him a call? Instead of calling me, why don't you take a few guys over there, knock him out, and drag him back to the hospital? And so, Fu Yanli proceeded, taking one step and then one kneel. He paid no mind to the stares of others. He answered no one's calls. He heeded no one's counsel, even if Lu Ziyi and the others went. There was nothing they could do but let him have his way. Fu Yanli didn't reach the summit until the evening of the second day. He also passed out from exhaustion and was carried down by the medics. I was with my mom finalizing the wedding details when I got the call from Auntie Fu. Auntie, Tang, I'm truly ashamed to come to you like this, but Yanli insists on seeing you. Nothing any of us says makes a difference. My mother gestured for me to hand her the phone. Nanju. My daughter is about to get married now, so it wouldn't be proper for her to go see your son. How about this? I'll send my future son-in-law instead. They know each other from before and were good friends. He might just be able to get through to him. Auntie Fu sighed. Oh, if that boy Chin Chu comes, it'll probably just upset him even more. Let's just forget it. Not at all. As the old saying goes, fight fire with fire. It's settled then. I'll have Chin Chu head over shortly, at the hospital. I waited outside the patient's room. When Fu Yanli saw Chin Chu, it was like a clash between sworn enemies. Their eyes blazed with instant hostility. Chin Chu, I never imagined I'd be outsmarted by you. From that first actress, I walked right into your trap, and there's no way out. If you can't keep your own house in order, who else is there to blame? That's only because you schemed at every turn. Without your meddling, Tang and I would never have ended up like this. The gardenias outside have bloomed. I stepped out for a bit, so I didn't catch the rest of their conversation. 12. I have no idea what Chin Chu said to him. For the next few days, Fu Yanli didn't show up in front of me. Then there was Lin Shuyu, whom I'd met a few times. Sis, can I talk to you for a minute? She kept her head down the whole time she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. It was hard to connect her with the person who'd hired trolls to attack me under the company's official posts. Lin Shuyu kept her head down, her fingers twisting together nervously. She remained silent for a long time. Just as I was about to lose patience and get up to leave, she finally spoke. I'm pregnant. I took a sip of my coffee and replied, what exactly are you here for, Miss Lin? That child in your belly surely isn't mine, is it? Lin Shuyu looked up, stunned. The child is Mr. Fu's, but he doesn't want it. Could you please talk to him for me? I don't want anything. I'll even return everything he's ever given me. I just want him to let me have this baby. Miss Lin, you've come to the wrong person. As his ex-fiancé, I have no business discussing this with him, and you can drop the act with me. You know perfectly well what matters more to you, the child or all those things Fu Yanli gave you. Lin Shuyu suddenly fell to her knees. But now, you're all he sees and thinks about. If it weren't for you, he might have let me keep this child. All his friends say I'm the exception, that I'm the only one who could ever get him to marry. Isn't that right? He even gave me a ring once, which proves he did consider marrying me. Fu Yanli has had far too many exceptions. Plenty of people have been his exception at one time or another. Miss Lin, aside from your pink diamond being worth something, if I remember correctly, that other ring, many people received an identical one. Lin Shuyu couldn't believe it. Impossible. You're lying to me. Everyone says I've been by his side the longest. You must be lying. Did Fu Yanli ever promise you that this ring was for you alone? Lin Shuyu opened her mouth, but found she had no retort. Look, he can't even be bothered to humor you. Lin Shuyu still wanted to say something more. I cut her off. Miss Lin, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't show up in front of me again. And please don't come looking for me at the company. We're simply not that close. Assistant Xiao, please see our guest out. After seeing the visitor out, Xiao Qiao knocked and entered the office. General Manager Jiang, don't listen to that Lin Shu's nonsense. The child she's carrying definitely isn't Mr. Fu's. My friend says that ever since the company sidelined her, she's been trying every trick in the book to get a new contract. What kind of methods she's used, I don't need to spell it out for you. I looked up at Xiao Qiao. You continue to follow up on the East District project. As for irrelevant matters, there's no need to report them to me. 13. The wedding day was blessed with beautiful, clear weather. All our friends from our social circle were in attendance. Congratulations. Honestly, I always thought you'd end up marrying Yanli. I never expected. It's Tong Tong's wedding day. What kind of nonsense are you spouting here? In my opinion, Qin Chu is 100 times better than that Fu Yanli. Song Song had long disliked Fu Yanli, and on a day like this, at a wedding, she was even more unwilling to hear anyone mention his name. My apologies, my apologies. I really put my foot in my mouth. I smiled, brushing it off. Let's go find our seats. The ceremony will be starting soon. The wedding venue was decorated in a traditional Chinese style, creating a breathtakingly solemn and majestic atmosphere. The wedding gown was specially commissioned by Qin Chu. The magnificent outer robe was embroidered with golden phoenixes. She wore a phoenix crown on her head, with golden tassels hanging on either side, and the ceremonial phoenix cape was draped over her shoulders. Two families are joined in marriage. A covenant is made under one roof. May this blessed union last forever. A perfect match in every way. After the ceremony concluded, I changed into my reception dress. Lu Ziyi gave me the prayer beads that Fu Yanli had obtained from Wulao Mountain. Fu Ji is absolutely sick with regret now. He says if he could do it all over, he would cherish you properly. Lu Ziyi kept on chattering away. He didn't notice the grim look on Qin Chu's face. I smiled and separated the two of them. After a long day, I collapsed onto the bed as soon as I got home, and Qin Chu helped me out of my clothes, in the bathroom. My back pressed against the cool tile wall. The steam fogged my vision and Qin Chu's. He hooked an arm around my waist, and before I could gather my thoughts, a flurry of kisses descended. The END, Story 2. The day before the engagement, my fiancé caused my family's company to go bankrupt, embezzled the funds, and fled abroad with Rebecca. My parents were forced by the creditors to jump off a building. I went to his house to seek justice. However, I was drugged by his parents and sent onto a gambling yacht. Dozens of men dragged me into a private room and took countless humiliating videos. At the moment when I was in despair and ready to jump into the sea, my fiancé's elder brother suddenly appeared and became my only salvation. He cleared all the obstacles for me and taught a lesson to all those who had bullied me. He said that he had been in love with me for a long time and didn't mind my past, in order to marry me. He moved out of his family home and held a century wedding for me. 5 years after our marriage, I boarded the yacht again as Ms. Olivia, but I accidentally heard his conversation with his brother, Noel. Back then you drugged Olivia and ruined her innocence for Rebecca. Now that she's finally pregnant, you bring her here to repeat the same old trick. Isn't that too cruel? Cruel. I promised Rebecca that only her child would inherit my family fortune. The evil spawn in Olivia's belly can't be allowed to stay. Besides, a woman as dirty as her doesn't deserve to give birth to my child either. Did you find those people from last time, just like 5 years ago? Don't hold back. Do it until Olivia has a miscarriage, remember? Don't let her notice anything strange. It turned out that the salvation I thought I had was just another abyss. The love I thought I had was all lies deliberately woven by him. Since that's the case, I'll help him get what he wants. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful stories every day. Now the story begins. On the deck, Noel was facing the sea breeze, sobbing with every breath and full of regret in every word. Since Rebecca has chosen my younger brother, all I can do is remove all the obstacles for her. Causing Olivia's family's company to go bankrupt was just the first step. The funds of Olivia's family can be regarded as my wedding gift to them. Olivia is already tainted. A person like her doesn't deserve to give birth to my child either. But it was you who hired the people who dragged her into the private room 5 years ago. Olivia has been suffering from depression because of that incident these past few years. You've been accompanying her for treatment every day, so you know it better than anyone. Repeating the same old trick, how can you expect her to live on in the future? Noel's face turned cold, and he reached out to light a cigarette for himself. In the curling smoke, he said calmly, "At worst, I'll continue to accompany her for treatment. Anyway, her child can't be born. I promised Rebecca that I won't let Olivia pose any threat to her." "What about Olivia? Does she deserve to be calculated like this by you? She's innocent. She loves you so much. How can you just..." Before he could finish, Noel interrupted him coldly. "Enough," I said. "Do as I planned. If anyone is to blame, it's her for showing up at the wrong time. Give me the medicine. I have to go back and watch her drink it with my own eyes." Seeing that he couldn't persuade him, the friend could only turn around and leave. Tears streamed down uncontrollably. They were blown into the night sky by the sea breeze. I crossed my arms, and my body couldn't stop shaking. 5 years ago, Ray caused my family's company to go bankrupt and took all the money to go abroad with Rebecca. My parents were driven to a dead end by the creditors and chose to jump off a building. I went to his house alone to seek justice, but I was drugged by them and sent onto this yacht. I became a tool for them in the dark games of the upper class. Dozens of men dragged me into a private room and took countless humiliating videos. I climbed onto the deck in despair, ready to jump into the sea and end my life. It was Noel who suddenly appeared and held me in his arms. He gave me the only warmth. He gently wiped away my tears and bloodstains one by one. He said, "Wait for me. I won't let go of anyone who has bullied you." That night, there were screams all over the yacht. My body had a stress reaction, and I had nightmares every night. It was also him who always stayed by my side when I woke up from a nightmare. He would stroke my back to comfort me. He said he couldn't control Ray, but what Ray owed me, he would repay it tenfold or even 100-fold. In order to give me a wedding, he didn't hesitate to break with his family and set up his own business. He declared his love for me to the whole world. But in the end, 5 years of happiness turned out to be a bubble. The person who saved me from the abyss was also the one who pushed me into hell. Stumbling back into the private room, when Noel saw my pale face, his eyes turned red with anxiety. He immediately held me in his arms and gently patted my back as he used to. "What's wrong, Olivia? Did you think of something again? Don't be afraid. This time I'm here with you. Those people won't appear again." Before I came up, I specifically asked the doctor to bring you some medicine. Drink it when the water cools down later. Looking at his deliberately gentle eyebrows and eyes, I said softly, "Noel, I don't want to take the medicine anymore. My illness is already cured. I want to go home." The warmth in his eyes faded a bit. He reached out and tapped the tip of my nose. "Olivia, be a good girl. Psychological illnesses are prone to recurrence. Taking the medicine will make you recover faster. After taking the medicine, you won't have nightmares anymore." Before I could speak, he had already stuffed the medicine into my mouth. After the warm water went down my throat, my whole body was completely cold, as if he was certain that I would fall into a coma soon after taking the medicine. Noel didn't stay with me any longer. He turned around and left the private room in a hurry. I knew he was going to find those people from 5 years ago. The broken memories like nightmares swept over me again. Cold sweat broke out all over my body. I collapsed on the floor and rolled around in a mess. When my consciousness was blurred, a warm lip pressed against my forehead. "Be good, Olivia, it will be over soon." I'm waiting for you to come out." Then, a tearing pain came. Blood kept gushing out from below. The familiar feeling engulfed me. Countless rough hands stroked across my skin. I don't know how long it took before I heard Noel's voice again. "Did she have a miscarriage?" "Yes, she did. But they didn't stop in time, it seems. They were a bit too rough. MS. Sean probably won't be able to get pregnant again in the future." "Well done. Double the commission. Go and collect the money after getting off the boat." When I opened my eyes again, it was already 5 hours later. Noel held my hand tightly in his palm, and his eyes were full of pity. "I'm sorry, Olivia. I didn't protect you well. It was those people from 5 years ago, when they learned that you were here. They came for revenge. We couldn't keep the baby. The doctor said that it will be very difficult for you to get pregnant again in the future. Don't worry. This time I've caught them all. They won't appear again. Don't cry. No matter what happens, I'll be by your side. If we lose the baby, it's okay. I only want you." I looked straight at the deck. I was so numb that I didn't even feel the pain. It was me who suffered humiliation and lost the child. But he was crying more bitterly than I was. His acting skills were excellent, and I was too lazy to expose him. After a while, when he stopped speaking, I slowly said, "Are you tired from avenging me, Noel? You can rest, I'm fine." Seeing that I didn't make a fuss, he let out a sigh of relief and closed his eyes and lay down beside me. His breathing gradually became steady. I silently picked up his phone. In the 5 years of our marriage, this was the first time I unlocked the screen. The password was Rebecca's birthday. The social media app in the background hadn't been logged out. There was only one contact. The note was Rebecca. I clicked in, and from 5 years ago until now, they had never stopped sending each other good morning and good night messages every day. Rebecca was abroad, but she would send Noel her daily itinerary. Either she was shopping and having coffee, or she was at the company working and having meetings. No matter what she sent, Noel never spoiled her mood. For one photo, she would get a reward of 100,000 yuan. Noel had been participating in her life like this all the time, until 10,000 photos filled the album. And when it came to my sharing, he would always only say, "Olivia, I'm in a meeting, let's talk when I get off work." In order to make Rebecca happy, he would go through great lengths to send her the gifts from the domestic side. The auction orders were so numerous that they filled dozens of pages of the screen. Many of the brands were familiar. Noel had also given me one, but it was just a freebie from the auction for Rebecca. The latest video in the album was from 5 hours ago. The cover was a picture of me falling into a coma after taking the medicine. Dozens of familiar faces stood beside me. My fingers kept shaking, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't open it. In the end, I clumsily pressed the delete button. I turned off his phone. "Noel, since the beginning of our relationship was a lie, this time, let me end it with a lie." Without hesitation, I sent a message to my best friend, asking her to drive a lifeboat and wait for me on the other side tomorrow night. I also found a divorce agreement online, downloaded the electronic version, and added it to the email. After finishing everything, Noel's forehead was soaked with cold sweat in his sleep. He kept mumbling in his mouth, "Olivia, no, you can't have an accident, Olivia." When he opened his eyes, he held me in his arms as if he had found something he had lost. Our chests were tightly pressed together, but our heartbeats were at different frequencies. After a while, he came back to his senses from the nightmare. "Fortunately, you're okay." This kind of scene had happened many times. In the past, I always thought it was because he loved me so much that he felt my pain, but now it seemed that it was just perfunctory. It was just excellent acting skills. I lowered my head and let him hold me in his arms to comfort me. "Be good, I'll go and bring you some food. Wait for me." As soon as Noel left, I followed him. He didn't go to the restaurant but turned and went to the private room downstairs instead. As soon as he entered the door, a slender wrist instantly clung to his shoulder and pulled him in. I stood outside the door and listened to the rapid and heavy breathing inside. Noel said with restraint, finally willing to come back. Rebecca smiled brightly and stood on tiptoe to plant a kiss on the corner of his lips. "If I don't come back, I'm afraid you'll really fall in love with Olivia. I heard that you repeated the same old trick again. After all, she's your wife of 5 years and she's just pregnant. Big brother, how could you be so heartless? If Olivia finds out, she'll definitely be so angry that she'll want to eat me alive." Noel was amused by her and laughed softly. He held her even tighter and pressed her against the door. I told you, as long as I'm here, no one dares to touch you. As long as you're happy, Big Brother will pave the way for you with her flesh and blood. A passing waiter noticed me and exclaimed in surprise, Olivia, why are you here? Your body hasn't recovered yet. You can't run around. If Mr. Noel finds out, we'll definitely be fined. Let me take you back. After saying that, the wealthy businessman who passed by looked at me with a bit of mockery in their eyes. Is this Mr. Noel's wife? The one who was dragged into the private room by more than a dozen men just now. I heard that she's been molested twice already. Mr. Noel is really not an ordinary person. He can even accept a woman like that. Twice. It's more than that. There were more than a dozen men each time, if you count it up. It's quite a lot. The green hat on Mr. Noel's head is so big that you could knit a sweater with it. He must be blind to fall in love with a woman like this. He could even vomit if he held her in his arms at night. Who knows if it was forced or voluntary? Maybe she's not a good person either. Otherwise, why is it that she's the only one who keeps having accidents on such a big yacht? This time, she even lost the baby. That child was really unlucky to have such a mother. I stood there, and my body almost couldn't stand up. When Noel heard the commotion outside, he saw this scene when he came out. His face turned pale instantly. He held me in his arms just a second before I fell to the ground. Olivia, why are you here? Are you feeling unwell? I'll take you back. I didn't say a word and looked at Rebecca behind him with my eyes. Afraid that I would find out, Noel quickly explained. Don't think too much. Rebecca just came back to the country. I happened to run into her and came to take a look. The incident that happened 5 years ago has been over for a long time. Rebecca was afraid that you would be angry. So she has been staying abroad. It's not easy for her to come back this time. After all, we're all family. How about we just, don't worry, as long as I'm alive, that bastard Ray won't be able to step into this door. Yeah, it's all in the past. I won't mention it again. I knew what he wanted to say. Rather than putting myself in a passive position, it's better to bring it up on my own initiative. At least I can keep some dignity. The passers-by who had just mocked me scattered as soon as they saw Noel come out. Sister Olivia, long time no see. Rebecca greeted me with a smile and showed off the limited edition new product of the brand on her wrist. I nodded in silence and suppressed my grievances and said, I came out to get some fresh air. Since you're busy, I'll go back first, so as not to cause you any trouble here. Noel thought I was angry and chased after me all the way back to the private room. His eyes were red with distress, looking at his eagerness to act and the lust in his eyes that hadn't faded yet. I suddenly felt like laughing. In order to make way for Rebecca, he didn't hesitate to drug me and ruin my life. Now that he got what he wanted and I was living with the infamy and couldn't hold my head up, who was he pretending for? Don't worry, it's been 5 years already. I've long forgotten about it. It's just that the private room was too stuffy. And I always thought of things I shouldn't have remembered. So I came out to get some fresh air. Noel let out a sigh of relief. He personally wiped the tears from the corners of my eyes. After feeding me the medicine, he went out again. This time, he headed in the direction of the restaurant. 10 minutes later, the waiter slipped a dinner invitation through the crack of the door for me. I knew this was Rebecca's doing, but I still went, before going out. I threw the suitcase I had brought into the sea. At the dinner party, Rebecca appeared in a high-end customized dress. Her temperament was fully displayed in every gesture. She used the name of Ms. Olivia. Everyone was speculating about her relationship with Noel. Whispers and discussions came from time to time. People came forward, raised their glasses, and praised the two of them as a well-matched couple and a perfect match made in heaven. Noel rushed over in a hurry and was busy with socializing, not noticing my presence. However, Rebecca walked up to me and led me outside the private room. Her eyes swept over the purple and blue marks on my neck. She raised a smiling face. Olivia, we haven't seen each other for 5 years. And you're still a useless person. What? Does it feel good to be dragged in? You couldn't protect the Olivia family back then. And now you can't even protect your child. You're just a joke. You don't know yet, do you? Those people weren't an accident. It was all arranged by your beloved husband. When you were stripped naked, he was watching right beside you. I feel sorry for you. Hatred welled up in my heart. Before I could take action, Rebecca slapped herself twice in the face. When the screams rang out, she leaned forward, flipped over the railing, and fell straight into the sea. Her thin body kept struggling in the water. Before I could react, I was pushed heavily to the ground by Noel. He didn't even look at me and directly turned around and jumped into the sea. When Rebecca was rescued by him, she sobbed in his arms. The look in Noel's eyes when he looked at me no longer had the slightest bit of love from the past. "Olivia, what's wrong with you? Is this what you call it being in the past? Rebecca knew about your situation and came to see you out of kindness. She wanted to explain the misunderstanding from back then to you. Why did you lay a hand on her?" I lay on the ground, my clothes flipped up, revealing the red marks on my skin. My expression became even colder. "Misunderstanding? Don't you owe me an explanation for the misunderstanding back then? If it weren't for you, how could I have ended up in a situation where I needed her to visit me?" He frowned, and a trace of panic flashed in his eyes. "What explanation? Didn't you know about the bankruptcy of the Olivia family back then? It was me who was kind enough to take you in. If you hadn't been disobedient and run around today, how could you have been? Even if I were a god, I couldn't be by your side all the time. You're seeking death yourself. Why blame it on Rebecca? Blame yourself for not loving yourself." Olivia apologized to Rebecca. Before I could speak, Rebecca had already shed tears. "No, don't make things difficult for Olivia. It's all my fault that the Olivia family went bankrupt back then. I didn't stop him in time. I'm sorry for her. Let today's incident be my compensation to her. Since she hates me so much, we won't contact each other in the future. I don't want to put you in a difficult position." My nails dug deeply into my palms, and blood dripped down. Looking at the backs of the two of them as they embraced and left, I knew that it was all over between us. 5 years of love turned to ashes at this moment. The scolding from the onlookers around kept coming. Is this the wife of his family who was molested twice? She's already a loose woman herself, and she still has the nerve to make things difficult for Miss Rebecca. Does she have no shame? At least Miss Rebecca is pure and innocent. How can she compare to her? No wonder Mr. Noel hasn't taken her out in the past few years. He must be afraid of losing face. He's a president himself. But he married a slut at home. No one knows whose child the aborted one was. TSK, if this gets out, his family's face will be completely lost. Miss Rebecca and Mr. Noel are a perfect match. I heard that the two of them were together in college. If Miss Rebecca hadn't gone abroad, how could she have had a chance to marry in? No one else but Mr. Noel would be so blind. I stumbled back to the private room. The blood underneath had already soaked through my dress. After washing up, Noel sent me a message to explain. "Don't think too much about what happened tonight. After all, Rebecca is my sister-in-law in name. There are many of her family's business partners on the yacht. If you hurt her, it's hard to save face. Asking you to apologize was just for show to the outsiders. After I deal with her injuries, I'll go back and apologize to you." "Okay, I said I would give you a gift. Don't be unhappy." But I knew that this act wasn't for the outsiders at all. It was for me. He had been pretending to be affectionate for 5 years. Now, it was time for it to end. I signed the divorce agreement and, together with the video screenshots from his phone, chose to send them on a timer. I took the medicine and sat by the bedside waiting until the early morning. Still, he didn't come. Only the waiter brought the news, saying that the president of the GU group had lost his temper for a beauty on the yacht. Rebecca just caught a cold from falling into the water, but he had summoned all the doctors on the yacht for this. He didn't hesitate to spend tens of millions. At dawn, I called him. He was busy auctioning jewelry for Rebecca and didn't pay attention to me. He bid the highest price. The envious voices of the surrounding guests came one after another. Only then did he remember the connected phone. "Olivia, I'm preparing a gift for you. Are you feeling unwell somewhere? I'll ask the doctor to go and see you first. I'll be there soon." I lowered my head and watched as the countdown to the email sending on the screen passed by minute by minute. In the hall downstairs, Noel and Rebecca were hugging tightly. "It's okay, you can be busy. I won't bother you." "Okay, stay in the room and wait for me obediently. Your husband will be there soon." The phone call ended. I turned around and left the scene. After the auction ended, Noel gave the jewelry to Rebecca as usual. He left the freebie behind and returned to the private room with the gift box, but the room was empty. He felt a little uneasy in his heart. Just as he was about to make a phone call to ask, A friend suddenly rushed in from outside the door with a pale face. Something's wrong, Noel. Something happened to Olivia. I don't know what's going on with those people from last time. They didn't get off the boat as agreed. Someone saw them taking Olivia away with them. Just as he finished speaking, Noel's phone rang. He received an email. Before Noel could look at his phone, he froze in place because of these words. Coming to his senses, he grabbed his friend's collar. His anxious voice was trembling. Are you kidding me? I already gave those beasts money. Why are they still on the yacht? Where's Olivia? Where did they take Olivia? Why did they act on their own? The friend didn't expect Noel to lose his temper and frowned, shaking off his arm. Calm down. The waiter said that it was Olivia herself who found them and took the initiative to go with them. Noel, could it be that Olivia already knows what you've done? Otherwise, she was dragged away by those people twice. There's no way she would take the initiative to go with them. Noel slumped down on the chair and kept mumbling to himself. No, it's impossible. I personally fed Olivia the medicine and watched her drink it. She couldn't have been conscious. How could those people know where she was? Which waiter told you this? Bring the person here right now. I'll ask her myself. Olivia's health is not good. She has been bleeding since the miscarriage. She must not have an accident at this time. Those beasts dared to go against the agreement. Now, let the yacht dock and wait for the police to come and take them all away together. If anything happens to Olivia, I'll make them pay with their lives. The friend looked at Noel with red eyes and let out a long sigh. Noel, this is something you decided on your own. You also personally fed Olivia the medicine. Her current situation was all caused by you. Why are you in such a hurry? Calm down. If you call the police, with so many people around, it's hard to say that no one will report you. You'll be walking right into a trap. The waiter is waiting outside. If you don't believe me, ask her yourself. The next second, the door was pushed open. The waiter knelt on the ground with a pale face. Mr. Noel, I don't know anything. I really don't know. Noel's face turned cold, and he grabbed the person's neck. His right hand gradually exerted more force. Only when the other person's face turned red from holding his breath did he speak. I'll only ask you once. Where is Olivia? Where did they take her? The waiter couldn't make a sound and could only barely make a mouth shape. It was those people, the people you brought. They took Olivia away. Olivia wasn't controlled by others. She left voluntarily. A few of them went in the direction of the deck together. When I sent people over, they were all gone. There were only clothes left on the ground. Olivia might have accidentally fallen into the sea. Hearing the words fallen into the sea, Noel's eyebrows and eyes immediately furrowed tightly. He lost control of his emotions. He kicked the waiter in the chest. Are you kidding me? Olivia was waiting for me in the room properly. How could she have gone out? She just called me, and there was no sign of anything wrong in her voice. If those beasts didn't force her, Olivia wouldn't have gone with them. She must have had an accident. Maybe she was dragged into the sea by those beasts. She can't swim. I'm going to find her right now. After saying that, Noel was about to rush out in a hurry. His friend quickly grabbed him and punched him in the face. Calm down. Can't you hear what he's saying? Olivia went with them on her own. If she didn't already know what you've done and choose to die with them, what other possibility could there be? Didn't you already think she was in the way? Now that Olivia is gone, Rebecca is right next door. The woman you've been dreaming of for 5 years is back. Why are you going crazy again? The successive questions from his friend made Noel's blood freeze. He didn't come to his senses for a long time. Yeah, clearly, everything was caused by him. Now that something had happened to Olivia, why was he going crazy? He didn't know what was wrong with himself either. Since the moment Olivia was dragged into the private room for the second time, his emotions had been on the verge of losing control. There had always been a voice in his heart telling him that if he continued like this, he would regret it, but looking at Rebecca's red and aggrieved eyes, he still chose to continue. Tears fell uncontrollably. Noel's body almost couldn't stand up. Rebecca appeared in time and affectionately took his arm. Her voice was sweet and gentle. Noel, what's wrong with you? Did Sister Olivia cause trouble for you again? Her temper has been spoiled by you. She still thinks she's the young lady of the Olivia family. I know her. She'll know she's wrong when she calms down later. For women, you still need to give them a proper cold shoulder to make them obedient. The friend had always looked down on Rebecca. Seeing this, he snorted coldly. Obedient? I'm afraid she won't have this chance in her life. As you wish, Olivia has disappeared, together with those who have humiliated her. A flash of joy appeared in Rebecca's eyes, and then she put on a worried expression. Why would Sister Olivia get involved with those people? Noel, she wouldn't be addicted, would she? I watched a popular science video before, and there was such a case in it. After being forced, she became addicted to it and then took the initiative to seduce. Noel, don't be sad, maybe Olivia didn't do it on purpose. If not, we can wait for her to come back. I'll find a few doctors for her from abroad. Don't be sad, I'll stay with you. It's better not to look for her now, so as not to disturb their good deeds and affect your relationship. Looking at the same delicate and gentle face as before, a chill kept rising in Noel's heart. When Olivia was taken away by those people, Rebecca was watching beside her. She had witnessed the torture that Olivia had gone through with her own eyes. She had also heard Olivia's painful screams with her own ears. The image of her lying in a pool of blood was still vivid and shocking. As a woman herself, it was fine if she didn't feel sympathetic, but now, she could say that Olivia had taken the initiative to seduce. Since when had this sister he doted on become someone he didn't recognize? It seemed that he had never really understood her. For the first time, he felt a sense of disgust towards this Rebecca. He was disgusted with her for standing by and watching, and he was also disgusted with himself for being the culprit. He turned his head away and coldly shook off Rebecca's hand. Enough, Olivia isn't the kind of person you said. There must be a misunderstanding in this matter. No matter what happens to her, I will find her. She is my wife. This has nothing to do with you. Go back and rest. Rebecca's eyes showed unwillingness. Just as Noel took 2 steps, she reached out and covered her stomach, looking in pain. Ah, Noel. My stomach hurts so much. Could it be that the child was injured when I fell into the water last time? Can you take me to the doctor? It hurts so much. It was the same old act as before. But this time Noel didn't fall for it. His cold and gloomy gaze swept past her. Noel's expression remained unchanged, and he only left a sentence, if it hurts, just stay here, I'll call the doctor. Then he left the private room in a hurry. On the way to the deck, he kept hearing the mocking voices of the guests. I heard that Mr. Noel bid the highest price for Miss Rebecca. What a generous gesture. They are childhood sweethearts after all. No wonder he doesn't care when his wife is bullied. It turns out he still has someone in his heart. That slut was probably found by him to act. Right, Miss Rebecca is the one he truly loves. He casually spent 200 million yuan. If he says he doesn't love her, who would believe it? This banquet was also held by Mr. Noel for Miss Rebecca, right? We're all benefiting from Miss Rebecca. Miss Rebecca is pure and innocent. If he doesn't love her, could he love that slut? I heard that Ms. Olivia went to find those men again and left with them. I can't believe she looks decent, but she has such a strong addiction. The voices came one by one, pressing down on Noel so hard that he could hardly breathe. Every word made his heart ache. He didn't understand. Clearly, he had ordered the news of Olivia's being harmed to be blocked. He had checked both inside and outside the private room when the incident happened, and there were only his people. How did the guests know these news? What had Olivia gone through during the time he was away? Had these people scolded her to her face? He didn't dare to think about it. He just felt his soul trembling. He had clearly planned it all out. After the banquet ended and the yacht docked, without the child, he would take good care of Olivia's body. He would accompany her to receive treatment from the psychologist. He would walk out of the haze with her. Even without a child, he would compensate Olivia with the rest of his life. As long as he, Noel, was around, no one could treat her badly. But all his plans were disrupted. In a panic, he quickened his pace and soon reached the deck. But he only saw Olivia's shoes. Those slippers were personally chosen for Olivia by him before he came up. He wouldn't mistake them. Besides, there were no other signs of her presence. Noel's eyes turned red with anxiety. He turned around and rushed into the nearby monitoring room, starting to search for the record of Olivia's last appearance. When he saw her standing with several big men and pushing them into the sea, the blood in his whole body froze in an instant. She had still found out. She found out that not only had he not avenged her, but he had also allowed these people to stay on the yacht, having fun and enjoying themselves. On the screen, Olivia pushed the people into the sea one by one and finally jumped in herself. Her thin figure was submerged in the sea water and disappeared without a trace. Noel's face turned pale instantly. He slapped the table and stood up. "Find people," he shouted. "Pass the word now and let everyone go into the sea to save Olivia. I want to see her alive. If she's dead, I will also take her body back." The surrounding staff didn't dare to say much and hurriedly turned around to do as they were told when they heard this. His friend frowned and looked puzzled. "I really can't understand you. Your plan was to ruin Olivia and make her have a miscarriage. Now that she knows the truth and has chosen to leave on her own, why are you still looking for her? After finding her, then what? Say sorry to her corpse. Say that the person you love is her. Say that you hired people to humiliate her and take videos of it out of necessity. Noel, don't be stupid. Olivia is already gone, no matter how much you do now. She won't be able to see it. Before she left, she solved these people for you and kept your secret. She has already done more than enough. Why do you have to bring up these shady things again?" The successive questions from his friend came crashing down. Noel slumped down on the chair, and his body couldn't stop shaking. He also didn't know why he was doing this, but the image of Olivia falling into the sea kept lingering in front of his eyes and wouldn't go away. It seemed that at this moment, only by finding Olivia could he barely feel at ease. Losing control of his emotions, he took out his phone and unlocked the screen. When he was about to send a message to Olivia, he finally saw the email that he had ignored for a long time. The sender was Olivia. Inside were the screenshots of the videos he had taken. The rough hands of several men showed prominent blue veins as they were struggling to pull at the clothes on her body. The image hurt his eyes and also his heart. At the bottom was a signed divorce agreement. Olivia had signed her name and only left the blank space for him. A sense of powerlessness overwhelmed him. He magnified the screenshot self-abusingly and stared at it for a long time. At this moment, he finally realized that he had fallen in love with Olivia. He also understood what he had lost and what he had done wrong, but it was already too late. Olivia wouldn't come back again. And the child they had lost would never come back either. His friend also noticed the image on the screen and patted his shoulder comfortingly. "The matter is already like this. Noel, you have no way back. You should have understood from the moment you made the Olivia family go bankrupt 5 years ago that your relationship could never be simple again. You forced her parents to death, and now you've also caused her and your child to die. Even if Olivia were alive, she would never forgive you. The 5 years of tenderness you had were already stolen time." His friend's words pulled his memory back to 5 years ago. When he first met Olivia, she was kneeling at his doorstep. Her thin body was drenched in the heavy rain, but her back was straight. The unyielding and resentful expression on her face was so obvious that he could see the bearing of the daughter of the Olivia family at a glance while standing on the balcony. The thunder and lightning flashed in the night sky. And her fair face was engraved in his mind like this. He had also thought about whether he had gone too far and hurt an innocent person. The thought of being soft-hearted flashed by quickly and was soon dispelled by the happy photos of Rebecca. He didn't hesitate any longer and continued with the plan. He fed Olivia the medicine, sent her onto the yacht, and arranged for people to drag her into the private room, step by step. He ruined the young lady of the Olivia family and also his own conscience. When the incident happened, he had been waiting outside the door, listening to the girls' collapsing screams inside, which gradually became hoarse and then subsided. Only then did he appear as a savior, rescuing her from the dire situation. After going through the torture of hell, Olivia had never doubted his words. When he said he had brought the perpetrators to justice, she believed him. Her weak body curled up in his arms, and her eyes were so dry that no tears could flow out. He had kept the little rabbit by his side and protected her. 5 years had passed like this. His heart had always been independent. He had unknowingly changed his attitude towards Olivia. The subtle changes were not even noticed by himself. When something happened to Olivia, the love that had been suppressed by hatred erupted all at once, burning him to pieces and leaving him covered in bruises. But it was all too late. In a trance, Rebecca called again. Hearing the exclusive ringtone of the phone, his friend frowned and reminded him, "Don't blame me for being nosy, but this Rebecca is not a good person. If it weren't for her, you and Olivia wouldn't have ended up like this." It was also her idea to make the Olivia family go bankrupt 5 years ago and tell your younger brother about it. It was also her idea to drag Olivia into the private room, if I'm not mistaken. She gave you that medicine, right? Such a woman doesn't truly care about you, she just wants to use your hand to make sure Olivia can never rise again. Noel also understood his friend's words and hung up the phone. He casually sent a voice message, "You are Ewan's wife, you don't need to contact me for everything. When the yacht docks, I will ask Ewan to pick you up, it's over between us." As soon as the message was sent, Rebecca's phone call came in again. He originally wanted to directly reject it, but his trembling hand accidentally pressed the answer button. A choking voice with a sob immediately sounded. "Noel, did Sister Olivia say something? If she blames me, I can go and apologize to her in person. I don't blame her for pushing me into the sea. It was all my carelessness, I didn't stand firm. Don't quarrel because of me. I already owe you a lot." Running out of patience, he completely turned cold. "Enough. You and I both know very well how you fell into the sea and how the news of Olivia's accident spread. Although Olivia hates you, she has never done anything to hurt you. It's you who has always refused to let her go. Do you think I can't see your thoughts? Having Ewan isn't enough for you." Before he could finish, Noel interrupted coldly. "I said it's over between us. Don't contact me privately in the future. That's it, I'm hanging up." After saying that, without waiting for Rebecca to react, he directly hung up the phone, but his heart was still beating violently, almost leaping out of his chest. Soon, the employees sent to find out Olivia's whereabouts returned one by one, but there was still no news of Olivia. When the yacht docked, Noel chose to call the police. After the police carried out an extensive search, they found traces of Olivia's appearance abroad. Noel didn't hesitate any longer. He entrusted the matters of the company to his friend and turned around to go to the airport. On the way, he sent a message to his younger brother, not to plead for Rebecca, but to tell him the truth. Rebecca was his wife, and he had the right to know what kind of person she was. As for whether he chose to stay or leave after knowing the truth, it was also his own decision. He wouldn't interfere anymore. At the same time, I had already been recuperating in a foreign hospital for a week. After several examinations by the doctor, it was said that my body was severely damaged. Even if I recovered, I wouldn't be able to have children for the rest of my life. I did